Hello everyone, welcome back. I cannot believe it is already time to start the 2023 Ranunculus and Anemones. I mean, this past year has went so incredibly fast. But I'm so super excited to get into these packages and start soaking my corms and get growing. If you've been following the channel for a while, you probably remember that I posted a video the last 2 years. Actually, I posted a video of me pre-sprouting my ranunculus corms, but now I have a couple years under my belt starting ranunculus and anemones, and I wanted to do an updated video, and then I want to just quickly go over the varieties that I'm growing, and then and I want to go over the dates that I'm planting everything, because I feel like I've gotten my dates on the best time to plant them honed in a lot better. If you're new to the channel, my name is Candace and I have a garden and farm in southern Indiana, zone 6. I like to share lots of videos on my flower beds and vegetable garden and cut flower garden. So if you haven't subscribed, you like those types of videos, then go ahead and click that button. So what do you say we get on into this video? All right, so for 2023 ranunculus, I ordered from 3 companies, and then I also got some from my local big box store. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these. I may just put them in some flower beds, but I did get 3 bags of these, and these are the Aviv mix. I think that's how you say it. I've already planted one in the fall, and I'm planting the other 2 bags in the spring. I also do have some that I saved from last year, but some of them look, they just don't look good. I think they rotted or something. I did finally do everything that I needed to do to become a legitimate business a couple months ago. So next year I'll be able to order wholesale, which I'm super excited about, because I will be able to get a lot bigger quantities for a lot cheaper of a price. So super excited about that because ranunculus is my favorite flower. Now for the really exciting varieties that are really good for cut flowers. For starters, I ordered from Eden Brothers. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I ordered from Eden Brothers, I ordered from Easy to Grow Bulbs, and then I ordered from Jake from the group Wholesale for the Small Scale Grower. But for my first order from Eden Brothers, I ordered Chamallow or Chamallow. I ordered 40 of those, and then I ordered 20 Marshmallow, 20 Bonbon, and 20 of the Romantic Mix. The Chamallow or Chamallow, when you see it in, like, you know, people holding handfuls of it, like, it just, Chamallow is pretty similar, but the Chamallow is a lot lighter, and I'll put, you're probably already seeing, you know, pictures of them up on the screen. Like, they almost look like peonies. You know, they say that if you plant them in the fall, that you get even more robust and healthier plants, bigger stems, taller stems, bigger buds. So I do have a couple hoop houses now, but I still wasn't sure if they would make it through the winter. So I only planted a third, and then as long as they do fine and they make it through our winter temperatures, then I will probably start fall planting all of them. But yeah, hopefully, really hoping for those super healthy, strong stems, tall stems, and larger buds and blooms. So next we have Easy to Grow Bulbs, and I ordered from them for the first time last year, and everything that I ordered from them, from lilies to hostas to caladiums to ranunculus, everything that I ordered from them, their bulbs, corms, tubers were like just super great, super large, super healthy, just super satisfied with them. And I ordered 30 Tecolote Pastel Mix. I ordered 10 Tecolote Pink. I ordered 10 Tecolote Rose. I ordered 10 Tecolote White, and I ordered 30 of the It's also called a pastel mix, but they're different. One of them has a yellow in the mix, I believe, and then one of them is just like pink shades and white, like white and cream shades. And then for my order through Jake, the first one I'm super excited about. There is a new ranunculus on the market. It's called Romance Ranunculus, which I don't know a ton about, but I do know that these are supposed to be a lot better, like super tall stems and super strong stems, and yeah, just overall a lot better ranunculus. So being that they are new, they are pretty expensive. So I only tried out 10 this year, just to, you know, try them out, make sure the price is even worth the extra cost. So I got 10 of the, and I don't know how to say it, but mullein. I'll put it on the screen. And then I ordered, actually, my order got messed up from him. He actually sent me some of the wrong things. I actually ordered 100 Amandine mix, 30 Tecolote, 30 Labelle, and then the 10 mullein Romance. Instead of the Tecolote, I was sent Elegance. Did I say 100 of the Amandine? It's 150. I'm really excited about trying the 3 of these like side by side this year to see, you know, which ones have bigger blooms or stronger stems or taller stems. Which one, you know, do they bloom for the same amount of time? Does one have better colors? And then next year I'll probably just order one variety. I just looked through my bags because I remembered that I did order from Easy to Grow Bulbs. I also ordered 3 cloney, and I'll put it on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce it. And I only ordered 3 of those because those are another one that is really expensive. All right, the 2023 Anemones. Again, I ordered from the same 3 companies for the Anemones. I didn't order as many of the Anemones as I did the Ranunculus, only because I love Ranunculus a little bit more. However, I do love Anemones, especially Tanya at Fresh Cut Kentucky, or she changed her channel to Tanya with the Flowers. Her videos of Anemones, especially her side view photos where you see like the white like they're white at the top and then red and purple and pink and, you know, all those other colors at the bottom. It's so beautiful. Hopefully next year when I'm able to order wholesale, I'll be able to get a huge full bed of anemones like she has. But her pictures of Ranunculus, oh my goodness, they're just so breathtaking. She is the one that made me discover Ranunculus in the first place and has me just wanting to buy thousands of them every year. Her pictures are just looks like all these little pastel like gumdrops. Her backyard just, I don't know, it looks like Candyland or something. If you don't follow her, you definitely should. So for starters, from Eden Brothers, I ordered 40 of the first Crush mix. And then from Jake, I ordered, I think it's Mistral, and Mistral Plus. I ordered 50 of those. And then I ordered 50 of the Rainbow mix. And then from Easy to Grow Bulbs, I ordered 10 of the variety Rarity. So pretty. All right, so that concludes my order for Ranunculus and Anemones for 2023. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. Now, one company that I did not order from this year, but I ordered from last year, and I was super happy with their bulbs as well, was Fleur Farm. I'll put that up on the screen. I had a really good experience with their corms. What do you say we go ahead and get these soaking and pre-sprout them? Alexa, play music. In previous years, I used a bottom cell tray for pre-sprouting the ranunculus, but this year I'm going to be using actual cell trays. The ones that I planted in the fall to try to overwinter in my hoop house, they were so easy to transplant. Nicole at Flower Hill Farm, she actually used to use these, and now she says that she likes using the regular empty bottom trays because she noticed like how big the roots were and how they are able to spread out. But that's actually why I don't like them. My soil is so hard to dig holes in, even when I amend it with tons of compost. It's like, I describe it as like Play-Doh. You know, with Play-Doh, if you try to like pull it apart, like it'll pull apart, but it doesn't crumble. And I'm not lucky enough to be like some people that, you know, you dig a hole and the dirt just kind of like falls everywhere, and you know, you put your plants in and you're able to just like push that dirt back in the hole. My soil, I actually have to like use a shovel and like cut it, like dice it up just to be able to fill the hole back in after I plant something. After amending it for the last several years, it is getting better, but still super hard to dig holes. So when I have this ranunculus, you know, you have your corm, and then you have these roots that are like 3 or 4 inches long and 3 to 4 inches wide. That's a big hole that you have to dig, because you don't want to just like crumble the roots, you know, in this little hole and, you know, smash a bunch of dirt on top of it. You want it to, you know, you don't want to disturb those roots too much. So I like the cell trays because it keeps them, you know, compact. Now you don't want to leave these in here for, you know, 3, 4, 5 weeks, because then they are going to get root bound. But for just pre-sprouting, and if you're wondering, you don't have to pre-sprout. I like to pre-sprout because I'm growing so many. If, you know, 20% of them don't make it, that's a lot of empty spaces in my garden. And I just like the look of, you know, full rows, and not rolls. I don't want full rows. I've got enough of those. Full rows in my garden instead of a bunch of empty spots. And also, it's just wasted space. You know, why do that when you can take a little bit of extra time and pre-sprout them and then have those nice, beautiful, full rows of ranunculus. And then to soak them, I'm just using some recycled cups from the gas station. I don't drink this much, I promise. I used to have an addiction to chewing ice though, so I would always get cups of ice. So let's go ahead and get on into soaking them, and then I will explain more details while we're, you know, in the process of planting them. I'm just gonna quickly get these out and see how many different varieties I have so that I know how many cups to fill up. I'm gonna put each variety in a different cup so that I know what is what, of course. And when you are filling the cups up with water, you want it to be like room temperature water, not anything too freezing cold and not anything too warm. Some people will use fish tank bubblers because they say that, you know, the corn sitting in the water for too long isn't great, that it can like run out of oxygen and, you know, cause your corms to end up, you know, not being successful and dying, I guess. I used to do that, but there was a couple times that I didn't do it, and I didn't really notice a huge difference, but I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. But I wouldn't say to go and buy one if you don't have one. I have some from when I had fish tanks, and I had a couple my husband uses when he goes fishing. So I had them on hand, but like I said, I've done it without and didn't see a huge difference. And I also know other people that you know, I watched their videos on how they do it, and they said they didn't see a huge difference either. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need to get 12 cups. You guys ready? So excited. Got my 12 cups all filled up, and with that being said, what I had mentioned about not having to use a fish tank bubbler, some people also will just let the water like trickle into it to put like bubbles and oxygen in it. If you do not do that, then I do suggest making sure that you don't like fill these up and then like, you know, get distracted by something and then come back to soak them later, because then after time the oxygen will leave the water. So you want to fill them up, put them in, soak them, get planting. All right, so first we got to get making our tags. I'm like super energized right now because I've been drinking a ton of coffee and I also have music playing, which I have to keep turning off because I don't want to be, getting any copywriting infringements or anything like that. Differences in the size of corms that I'm seeing. Now, all of these were supposed to be 5 to 7 centimeter corms, and so far the Aviv are much larger. Now, I know with dahlias, some varieties produce super large tubers, some produce super small tubers, but that doesn't change the fact that all of them are going to end up being, robust, tall, productive plants. Don't know if that's the same with ranunculus or not, but from the research that I've done, the bigger the corm, the better. So you should always, if you can, pay a little bit more for a bigger corm. So hopefully you can see these here. These are the romance, and you can see here how much darker they are. This is what mine look like that I saved, what some of them look like that I saved, that I'm pretty sure rotted, that they were in the wet ground for far too long. I'm hoping that these are okay, especially given how costly they were. It also could be the romance variety, I'm not sure. These are the ones from Eden Brothers. You can see how small those are. These are the ones from Jake. This is the Amandine. And then these are the Aviv from the, local big box store. You can see that these are super large, super large compared to the rest of them. A lot of them are double, and I'm sure once they're soaked could be pulled apart. All right, so the one company that I have not been able to show you the size of their corms yet is Easy to Grow Bulbs. Now, I do have the clone that I will be able to show you, but I want to tell you about their robust corms. Oh my goodness. For their tecolote corm varieties, I couldn't believe when I opened them up how big they were. They were like that, 7, 8 plus corms in one. It was ridiculous. So I was super happy with those, but unfortunately I planted all of the tecolote varieties in the fall, so I don't have those to show you. I may have a picture. If I do, I'll put it up. Anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the differences in the sizes and, what I got from each company. And I don't know, with Eden Brothers, I think this is just like a one-off, year, because I did order from them last year and the year before, and their ranunculus corms were more like the size of these. So it may be just where they got them from. They just all happen to come in at this size or what. Now I want to go bowling. So these have just a little bit longer to soak. I'm going to go ahead and head out to the garage, and I am going to start mixing up some soil to start filling trays while these finish soaking, and then we will get putting them in the tray. My husband and I just spent the last not quite a week, but several days cleaning out our garage, which it feels so good to have all of this room now. There's my hoop house cover. I've got my dahlia tubers, gladiolus corms. I've got all of my shelves here for all of my trays. Oh, it feels so good to finally have it done. And all of this room, we can actually put our cars in here now. But anyways, so I've got some 72 cells, and then I was actually thinking about the really little corms from Eden Brothers. I was thinking about using a 128 tray, but then once I did the math, I ended up with 210, which is perfect for 3 72 cell trays. So I'm just going to do that for the ranunculus. And then for the anemones, I'm just going to put them in a full like bottom tray, one of the deeper ones. All right, so I already have some seed starting mix already mixed up, but it needs a little bit more perlite, so I'm going to put some more perlite in here. And I'm also going to use some cinnamon. I always mix in a little bit of cinnamon whenever I'm planting ranunculus corms, especially because they do tend to, like I said, get mold up underneath like the corms. Anywhere there's not seed starting mix up against the corm, if there's any like air pockets, I don't know why, but it causes mold to grow there. So I'm going to mix in a little bit of cinnamon. That is like an antifungal. It helps with that. And so I'm going to add some cinnamon, some perlite, and then see how many we can fill up. And then I have a couple bags of this for if we need more. So I've just planted the first variety, which is the chamallow, and I'm getting ready to plant the bonbon. And I just wanted to show you so that you can see the difference in the size of these now that they have been soaked. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, do not over soak these. If you have little tiny corms like this, you do not need to soak them for 4 hours. These I soaked for an hour. Once you see they start to swell up and get this lighter color, that is a hydrated corm. If you soak them for too long, not only are they more likely going to rot, but you're going to lose a lot of these legs. Now it's normal for, a couple of these to get broken off in the process of soaking them and pouring the water out, pouring them out of the cup. But if you have like several of the little legs, or some people say they look like octopus, several of the little, then that means that you've soaked them way too long. I would still plant them, don't just toss them, but don't do that next time if you already made that mistake. All right, so now that we have our corms soaked, what are the next steps? Well, after soaking, then you need to, of course, plant them in your trays. So you need to take either an empty bottom tray or a cell tray and just put a little bit of seed starting mix in the bottom, put your corm in, and then put some seed starting mix over the top. And I definitely recommend seed starting mix just because you don't have to deal with, the possibilities of eggs or fungus gnat larvae or anything like that usually with seed starting mix, because it's very sterile. And of course it needs to be moistened just like you would for when you're planting seeds. It needs to be moist, not sopping wet, but moist. And then after you have them planted in the tray, you need to stick them in a location, maybe a unheated garage, somewhere that has temps of 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And being in those temperatures in the moist soil or seed starting mix is going to wake them up from that dormant state that they're currently in. Once they have been sitting there for 10 to 14 days, they're going to start putting on roots, and you're going to start seeing little white or light green shoots popping up. And if you see that, then you know that they're viable corms and they will be putting on lots of leafy growth in no time. But that's the easy part. The hardest part for me anyways, and I think for a lot of people, is figuring out exactly when to do this. Ranunculus especially, I feel, is more sensitive to those warmer temperatures. Usually once you consistently have temperatures of about 70 degrees, your soil has warmed to 70 degrees once it's, consistently in those temperatures, and that is what's going to cause them to go dormant. And I experienced it firsthand last year when I walked out and all of my ranunculus looked like they had been like sprayed with weed killer because we had, I think it was 5 days in a row of like 75-degree temperatures. So they had all started to go dormant, and it happens very quickly. It's definitely taken me a couple years to get the timing right. And I think I almost had it right last year, but I think I was just a few weeks too late. So this year, I'm planting them about 4 weeks earlier than I planted them last year. Last year, they were just beginning to bloom when we started getting those temps of over 70 degrees. In ranunculus, they usually bloom for about 4 weeks really well. So, with them just starting to bloom and then getting those hot temperatures, I think 4 weeks sooner would have gave them that 4-week window to bloom before being done with. Last year, I pre-sprouted them the beginning of April. Well, I had another round, but I planted those way out too early, so I had to repurchase. So the second round, I pre-sprouted the beginning of April and started transplanting them mid-April. I didn't get the last of them transplanted until late April, though. It took me a couple weeks. But they started blooming around the end of May. My first bloom was on May 17th, actually, which was about 45 days later. So that only gave them 45 days before that heat started coming on. Well, actually, the heat had came on even a couple weeks earlier than that, but the over 70-degree temps were consistent, by that point. So this year, my plan was to start them beginning of March and then transplant them mid-March and hopefully have blooms by the end of April, early May. However, since, again, I did have some days that were, pretty hot before then, I want to try to plant them just a couple weeks earlier than even that. So start them mid-February and then transplant out beginning of March. But since I also have hoop houses this year, I'm also going to plant another round, which is what you're seeing in today's video, even 4 weeks earlier than that. Is based on my research, I feel like that hoop house should give me, another month earlier that I'm able to plant. So basically, I have a batch that I'm planting in January, a batch that I'm planting in February, and then the batch that I planted last fall. Now, I'm telling you all of these dates because I'm hoping that if you are also in Zone 6, that this will be beneficial to you. But I do want to emphasize that it may not work in your area. Even if you're in Zone 6, you may have totally different climate. A lot of people always ask, what zone you are in, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have the same climate. You could have a totally different last frost date. My last frost date is April 28th. Your last frost date may be May 15th, or it may be April 15th, or it could be the same as mine. But you could also have a really long spring, whereas mine gets really hot really quick. So just make sure you take those things into consideration. But that is how I pre-sprout my ranunculus and anemones. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If so, I would love if you would thumbs up this video. It really does help. But other than that, I will talk to you in the next one.
Shut up, my ear.
Aw, thank you.
What?
Telling them to subscribe. That gives Mommy more money.
What?
Yeah.
Shut up, my ear.
Well, hello there. Out of all of the corms that... Oh my gosh. Did I say 100 of the Anemone? It's 150. Okay, go in there with Daddy.
Hey,
Good
that
catch.
one will fit you, but I that.
Thank you.